You're right. Like to stay on time. I'd like to welcome you to the work session. Today is March 20th, 2025. So I would like to call this meeting to order. Before we go into the prayer and the moment of silence, I would like to make an acknowledgement. I would like to introduce our new mayor-elect of Pendergrass, Mr. Bill Ellis. Please, there you go, Bill. We welcome you. We're here for you. Anything you need, you just give us a call, okay? Welcome, and I look forward to working with you. And Donna, his wife, by the way. Thank you. Dr. Sterling, would you like to do the prayer?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
If we go bow our heads, Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for blessing us and waking us up this morning. Father God, we all have gifts, each and every one of us, and we just ask that you help us to use our gifts to better this community and make it a great place to live. These things I ask and pray in your holy and precious name. Amen.
If we could just do a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Could you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, I would just like to let you know that I'm going to make an agenda adjustment. I'm going to add executive session on for tonight. So with that, I would like to make a motion for approval of the agenda, including executive session for real estate and personnel. Is there a second to that? Thank you, Scott. All in favor of approval of the agenda with the two additional items? Thank you. Okay, this is for council meeting minute approval for 2013-2025. This was the special called meeting minutes, 2013 the work session minutes, 2018 the regular session minutes, and 2027 special called meeting minutes. Is there a motion on this?
Make a motion for approval.
Thank you, James. And a second, please.
I second.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling. All in favor? Great, thank you. All right, under new business, item number 1Z-2024-04. This is the rezoning, City of Huston. This, that's us. We're the applicant, just so you know, in case you forgot where you were. And what this is we are wanting to rezone our property on Peachtree Road from residential, R1, to industrial. Is there a motion on this?
Make a motion for approval, Z-24-04.
Oh, institutional, not industrial.
I'm sorry, I'm institutional. I'm sorry, you're right. Thank you for the correction. And James, you made a motion. Was there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling. All in favor? Thank you.
Institution.
I think we could probably use some institutions around here as well.
Yeah.
Wait.
Weren't we talking institutional in our meeting earlier today? I think so. Okay. Sorry. All right. Item number 2, Z-24-05. This is a rezoning of Dr. Kumar's property. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. See, I do need institution. I can read it here. Rezoning City of Huston applicant, LLC property owner seeks rezoning from PUD, conditional ordinance. What we're doing is we're changing the orientation of that property. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve Z-24-05.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, James. All in favor? Okay, great. Thank you. Item number 3, this is a Jackson County Water Purchase Agreement. Is there a motion on this? Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion to approve this purchase agreement. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling. All in favor?
Is there one opposed?
There was not. I know, it's hard to see, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry.
Probably should sit over there sometimes. Item number 4, IGA, this is the Houston Park. Is there a motion on this? This
I
is
make
the-
a motion to approve.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling.
Second.
Thank
Do
you,
we-
James.
Do we have an opportunity for discussion?
Yes, we do.
Is now appropriate, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I expressed last Thursday that I was concerned that this is not in the best interest of Houston, as a city. And, in the meantime, in the week since, I've sort of did my little pros and cons. And I really kind of need to remove this one because it has a question mark. So, we currently have an IGA in place, and it's good until July 20th of 2029, so that's about 4 more years. And I personally feel that it is better for Houston to just remain under that agreement and evaluate how that charter school impacts our use of the park. I can envision a scenario in which the safety of the school is a concern, and they would have to restrict the use of the park. In 4 years, we can reevaluate. If it has been restricted access to our citizens, then we could arrange a lease, could arrange to sell to Brazelton or something. But by signing a 40-year IGA, we give up any opportunity to do that. We give up any opportunity to reassess our citizens' ability to use that park facility. It is counted, those 4 acres are considered counted in our parkland inventory in our comprehensive plan, which assumes we have access. The current IGA also goes from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. This one extends it from 6 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So if there is a restriction, it's going to be pretty much from the time you would walk in the morning to the time you would walk in the evening might become unavailable. I can see the benefits to Brazelton and the charter school. The water and sewer for the park area gets paid by the county. 50% of repaving the parking lot every 15 years gets paid by the county. New turf fields get paid for by the county. They're guaranteed priority use of the fields for 40 years. I'm not sure what priority use entails, which is why I'm concerned about restrictions on our citizens using it. All maintenance and operating and any other upgrades are paid for by the county. The county, in return, gets use of the ball fields, so they have their leagues and things, which is awesome. I have yet to find a benefit to the city of Houston of changing an IGA because we have one in place that is serving us well. And the changes that are coming about in this new IGA are very concerning. We're going to be locked in for 40 years with no ability to do. We would have to ask Brazelton's permission if we wanted to sell it. And they would be our only buyer because they would only grant permission if they bought it, which would limit us in price. I just cannot find a reason that I can support replacing a perfectly good IGA for the city of Houston with a new one that would potentially cause more problems.
Mayor, if I may, I agree with Tina or Ms. Brown. I think that if we did keep the current agreement that we're at, it would remain exactly where we're at today for all parties, the charter school, the county, and the city of Houston. And we can look at this current IGA the way it's written, and if it works well, we could even implement it before the 4 years come up and go for it. But I see no reason why we should jump into some foggy area where we're at. I did hear that there's some thoughts that if we did this, there would be the opportunity for AstroTurf to go there or New Greenery. I was under the understanding that Jackson County wanted to put the AstroTurf in because it would eliminate watering and it would eliminate maintenance and it would pay for itself in a number of years. So I think they're going to do that anyway. So I'm not saying that I'm against the agreement. I'm just saying that I'm not really sure that the agreement, the IGA that we're looking at, if we have a chance to study it and see how it works, that we would have more data behind us. And then we can make the decision to go on further. Or if we find something in there that needs tweaking, we could tweak it. And I'm not insinuating that we have to wait the 4 years. We could do it anywhere from 4 months from now to 4 years from now. Thank you.
You're welcome. There is a motion on the table, so I will have to ask, so the motion was made to approve the IGA, and I believe that there was a second, correct, Jennifer?
Yes,
So we'll,
Mayor, may I ask a question?
oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I thought we were done discussing. Yeah, absolutely.
My question is for Jennifer. Jennifer, like both of these, Mr. Brown and Mrs. Brown have mentioned, the current agreement that we have in place is through 2029. What is the urgency, or what was the spark that caused the conversation to begin to put in place a 40-year agreement, given that we were good through 2029?
Great question. This is really driven by the county. They are wanting to put more an investment into the field, and so they just I think for more security on their end, they are driving this to go ahead and have a longer term agreement.
I think, do you mind if I add to that a little bit? I know they want to spend $2.3 million on putting AstroTurf on there. They would not want to do that, and they would not want to go to the commissioners if there was not a longer-term agreement on that. Just a couple other comments that were made. I just would like to say what we should also consider is at the end of the current IGA, and I'm not suggesting that this would happen, but it could. Browse could be not successful in the school and put anything they wanted to there. So I think we just need to consider that as well. But Jay, did Jennifer and I answer your question?
I think if I understand you correctly, they have somewhat made the turf conditional on a longer IGA. I'm under the impression that the turf is going to be done. I think it's costing the county a significant amount of money to maintain.
Oh, yeah, and water and, yeah.
My cousin isn't able to play a soccer game because the rain has delayed the field.
Yeah.
So I was under the impression that was going to go in. So I think the county would feel more comfortable spending the money if they had a longer
I don't
agreement.
think they would even approach the commissioners unless there was a longer-term IGA.
Yeah, I think the commissioners would feel a little bit more at ease from what they're telling us. If they had a longer term, a newer IGA with the turf, because I think it was around 2-point-something million to do
It's
the turf.
2.5 million.
So, from what Ricky has stated, Mr. Sanders, is that he would just feel, I think they would feel at more comfort level funding that, knowing that it's going to be more of a long term. So.
Scott, were you going to say something?
That was the same question I had, was, is it not going to happen because we don't sign this? Is really what I'm trying to guess. Why don't they want to put it down anyway if it's going, as Mr. Brown said, there's an opportunity to save money. And is it just purely because they're afraid that we won't sign it in the future either? And then what happens if we didn't sign it today? Does it automatically just keep rolling? Doesn't it roll back again anyway? 40 years. No, if we sign it, we go 40 years. But if we don't sign it, 4 years
No.
are left. What happens at the end of 4?
I don't think it rolls
It's
over.
a 10-year renewable, but with 30 days notice, I'm sorry.
It's also revocable too, and that's
Yeah, okay.
a
but it doesn't
concern for
10-year
me.
renewable.
We need that green
That's what I
space,
thought.
so we don't want them to,
We don't want to sell that.
yeah.
But we need it useful.
Yeah.
We need it to benefit our citizens. That's my whole thing. From a citizen perspective, how much use do we get? How much does that turf benefit Houston?
To your point, Jennifer and Mayor, I appreciate all the time y'all have spent on this agreement, and to Tina's point, Section 7 in this agreement basically outlines the fact that our citizens will continue to be able to walk around the track. They'll still be able to use the playground. Our citizens are not restricted from accessing the park during these priority hours, if you will. That's the way I read the agreement.
That is correct.
My concern is that you could say, well, for school security, we have to. And then if you go to court, where's it gonna decide?
I think get me wrong here, if there's an issue at the school, it isn't gonna be the school making that decision. It'll be law enforcement or EMS or somebody else that's gonna make that
No,
decision.
long-term, like, we believe it is a school safety issue to allow public access during school hours, and that trumps your citizens' use.
I think they would have to come back and modify the IGA for something like that, since it's clear in the air that we have full use.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't think I thought that was part of why we rewrote the things that we did.
Well, and this is exactly the reason I'm suggesting that maybe we take a breather, look at how it actually works. And if it does work like everybody's saying at the table, then go with the 40-year. But right now, I keep hearing, I think, I don't know, but I'm sure. And that's the reason I would just like to know the absolute facts. And I'm not saying putting it off for 4 years or 4 weeks. Let's just see how it works for a year, and if it works fine, sign it for 40 years.
Agree.
I'm just a little bit nervous about all the ifs.
Is there a time frame that, for the Park and Rec to go to the county? Like, are they trying to get the turf down in 90 days from now? Is there, no?
No.
No, we don't know.
I do know that they're trying to go ahead and, pursue something because of the maintenance. That's the biggest thing. The hurdle, I believe, that I've been hearing from the county is there is some improvements that need to be done on that field, but they really do not want to go ahead and pursue it until they can guarantee this IGA is done. So they have not given us a time, like they're wanting to get that turf on in 6 months or anything like that. But I think they're just going to kind of hang out until we can figure out this IGA on going forward with any maintenance.
And they did fix all the other they pretty much fixed everything we asked them to fix in the IJ, is that correct?
They did.
From what I've seen in the past, even when it was an elementary school, there was still no use, there was really no problem with the use of the walking trail to go around it or anybody that wanted to access the park, even when it was a active elementary school. Not necessarily the charter school right now, which may bring later issues if they do have to have a lockdown situation, but that goes back to what Scott said with the sheriff's department and police department and the EMTs locking down everything, which they probably would, and nobody would be able to access it. From our standpoint with our citizens, I don't think anybody's been denied to say, hey, you can't walk through these hours or out on the field, because I see people out there on Sunday, which is totally different from what Jackson County Parks and Recs use it for. They use it for their tournaments and everything Monday through Friday and on the weekends. So,
See, James, I totally agree with you, and that's working perfectly fine under the current agreement.
yeah.
And so I'm sitting here going, again, tell me why we want to change the agreement that's
Well,
working
I think
fine
that-
today.
From my understanding, what they want to propose is to spend that kind of money on the turf to have a longer term investment. No different than what
Yeah.
they want to do with the Stansel building.
And I would love that as well, and I'm saying, okay, let's do this, let's do the 40, but let's work through all the bugs in this current agreement, if there are any. And if they're not, then we'll sign the 40-year.
But I thought
Okay,
that's
guys.
what we were doing.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to get this motion resolved one way or another. Is there any other discussion that you want to have? Because there is a motion and there's a second. So,
I would just like to make a motion that we end the discussion and that we move forward with a vote.
Well, you do have a motion on the table. Ms. Sterling, motion to, to proceed with this IGA as is. And, Mr. Lawson seconded. So we just need to, who is in favor of this motion?
So I will ask for who's in favor of approving the Hushen Park IGA? Raise your hand.
Okay.
And
I
who-
see four.
Mhm. And opposed?
You do have to vote.
Okay, so I can't make another motion to table this?
Yes, you can. Yes, okay.
But you have to vote on the motion that was there.
Yeah.
Okay,
So your vote was,
Well, you don't have to vote on this one if you are going to make another motion.
okay.
So I just want to make sure, Ms. Sterling motioned it, Lawson seconded it. In favor was, Mayor Martin and,
Scott.
Councilmember Porter. And then those opposed was, Councilmember Tina Brown and Councilmember
Dave?
Dave Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna go into, now since that's on the table, I have your name, that's first.
Okay.
And then now if you wanna make a different,
I'd like to make a motion to table the IGA Houston Park.
okay?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion about that? If not, we'll go ahead and take a vote on that to table.
Didn't
I
the
would
first one
just-
pass though?
Well, we're going, I think this is, let's see if this doesn't, and then this one trumps it.
Yeah.
I just, for the record, I've made this motion because I'm not opposed to the IGA Houston Park. There's a couple of areas that I'd like to have more clarity around. And so that's why I'd like to table it, to continue the great work you all have been working on.
Okay.
JJ, where-
Okay,
wh-
and there
which
was a
ones do you
second.
have? Which questions do you have?
We have to
Oh, okay.
vote. So all in favor of tabling the IGA, raise your hand. All opposed?
Okay, then we're gonna, this one, is trumped by the first one.
All right, item number 5, Resolution 2025-08, Personnel Policy Update Retirement Plan. If you recall, this was to put in the new pension plan that was started. Is there a motion on the table for this? I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, JJ. All in favor? The next item, Resolution 2025-09, Georgia Cities Week. Is there a motion on the table for this?
I make a motion to approve Georgia Cities Week.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, James. All in favor? Item number 7, text amendment -25-01. This is the sign ordinance text amendment. This is a very minor changes that we discussed last week. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you,
I'll
Dave.
second.
Who seconded?
I'll second.
Thank you, Scott. All in favor?
Can I have you say one thing before we move on to the next item?
Sure. It's your meeting too.
I've just got to give praise to Hugh again. He's been doing great work. I appreciate your work on this, and I just want you to know that we see everything you're doing here at the city. Thank you.
That was
Can I
nice.
make a question too? You're bringing this back though to planning and zoning at the next meeting too to
For a full review
finalize
of the
everything
ordinance.
else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and Councilmember Porter, I have talked to the Planning and Zoning Committee and let them know that this is just, a text amendment.
Okay.
And, as soon as I, collaborate the addition or the amendment to the actual ordinance, then we would present it back to them, so they'll have it on their, agenda for April.
All right. We are on item number 8, bid 2025-001 Oak Street Park. Is there a motion on the table?
The bid for demolition?
Oak Street.
Oak Street.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make it or you can make it,
To
because I'm going to
deny
second
or-
what you say, and you'll probably second what I say.
Okay.
Go ahead, you go ahead.
I move to, decline the bid.
I second that. All in favor of declining? Great, thank you, Tina.
Mhm.
Bid 2025-002, demolition of home at Mulberry Park. Is there a motion?
I move to accept the bid.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jay. Any discussion before I take a vote?
Are we kind of waiting to see what else comes up with that property before we pay to have it demolished or let a developer do it?
Well,
To save the taxpayers' money?
that is my wish, yes.
Okay. So, in that case, I'd like to see if there's any concern as far as tabling it right now, till we see who could come forward and want to do some development on that property for us. We're gonna wait out that time, or we're gonna do this next month, or what? As far as demoing it.
So let me just see if I can clarify. So Tina made a motion to approve. Dave, you second. We do have to take a vote on that, and
Okay.
just like the other, if you don't want to vote and make another motion for a table, you can do that.
Well, I'm in the, just want to see if, if there's any concerns out there with us kind of waiting on this to see if somebody does come forward and want to help us with the development of that park area, amphitheater, whatever it may be, that they assume the cost of demolition the house, instead of us paying
Yeah.
$21,000, $22,000?
39,000 for this one.
39, which we paid 10 on the first house that we tore down.
No, didn't we pay?
Now, the first one was 10.
So that bid is $10,000, a little more than $10,000 less than we had budgeted, so it's a good solid bid for the complete job that they're gonna do. Second, if some opportunity were to come along, part of the negotiation process, you could build in what we may have or may have not have already spent in the demolition. You just include that in the negotiation process if something were to come along. I'd like to get moving. We've had the sign up there for a couple of years. I want to show the citizens that we're doing something for them.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ask for a vote. So again, I'm just going to remind everybody, there was a motion to approve by Tina. Dave seconded. All in favor?
We're gonna go.
All opposed? Scott, you didn't vote?
No,
Are you?
I'm not against doing it. I just wanna make sure again that we have a chance to potentially table it.
So then you don't need to make a motion to do that.
So I'd like to make a motion to table it.
Is there a second to tabling,
A second.
to table it? All in favor, before we go on, I'll ask for another discussion.
Well, make sure, Councilmember Porter, what are you tabling it to, next month?
Just to see, give a little more time to look at some of the things that the mayor wants to bring forth.
So for minute purposes, do you want to council it to the next, scheduled meeting in April? And then discuss again?
Like, give you enough time?
Well, you can either.
If not, I can table it again
Yeah.
or
Okay,
request
yeah,
it.
that's good.
Jennifer, is there a time limit on this bid? Does it expire in
Yeah.
30, 60, 90 days?
It doesn't, there's no expiration on it. But I mean, I would hope that we would have something in about 60 days.
Okay.
Okay? But we can discuss that again in April.
Well, only if everybody agrees.
Do what?
So I need to take a vote on the table. All in favor of tabling? All opposed?
Okay, so we will table it till April for another discussion.
All right, item number 10. This is Wildflower at Village request for speed. The request was tables, but now we're thinking humps or bumps or lumps, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Hump bumps. Believe Wildflower has gotten back to us and they are okay with the hump.
Same thing that's in the cemetery.
Yes, the rubber.
What is the real name of
Kevin,
those,
right?
actually?
Well, the speed they wanted speed
Yeah.
tables. And we
Yeah.
have talked through that process with Wildflower, and, Mr. Kevin is here, to represent Wildflower. I did get a message from the president, I did get a email from the president, Ms. Stephanie, and she said at this time that they will settle for the black rubber, speed,
They
Bump.
work.
yes.
Kevin, you have anything to say about it? You good with that? Kevin, you're good with that? You guys are good with that?
Yes, sir, we're fine with it, and I don't see us having to approach this again in the future. I think this is gonna do what we're hoping it'll do. So the idea of the $25,000, I spoke to a few of our residents when I let them know that there was a $1,000 assessment possibly coming down the pipe. They were all in agreement. And so ironically, we're good.
Okay, great.
And really quickly, Mayor, if I could say, I think the speed bumps along with Officer Emerson, whenever I see Officer Emerson on duty, I get like this goofy grin on my face because, he can't turn his lights off before they're on again. So I think these.
He's done a phenomenal job and they put the speed,
The reader.
radar, up, and it helped for a little bit. It's like James said, now everybody's gotten used to that. When he's there, they'll watch their manners, but, this is gonna be very helpful.
It'll work.
Good.
Except for the car.
Do we need to change the name from speed tables to whatever this is?
No, what will happen is when you make a motion, just,
I'm waiting.
yes, the mayor will direct you how to make that motion.
Okay, so is there a motion on the table to add 3 speed bumps to Wildflower?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, and thank you. All in favor?
In the middle of the night, you're gonna hear from me.
Better than the other option.
All right, item number 11, this is, DDA board members. There was a special called meeting on Monday to add, Ms. Jessica Green, who is part owner of
No, not just.
Martin,
Oh, my goodness.
to the DDA, and also Ms. Kona, who is the owner of Juke and Jive. Is there a motion to add these 2 members to the DDA?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
And I just will, just for minute purposes, the terms will go through, 2029, 8. So, yes, so Jessica will go through 2029, and again, I'm just doing this for minute purposes. 25 to 27.
And before I make a motion to go in executive, I just like to remind you of upcoming events. March 26th, 6 o'clock is the Planning and Zoning next meeting. March 27th is Historic Preservation Committee meeting at 3 o'clock. And March 27th, also at 6 o'clock, is in this room here. Mr. Steve Witry, who is now the president and CEO of our chamber, will be here to answer your questions. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to go in executive for personnel and real estate. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor? Great. Thank you all. See you soon. Bye, Kevin. Mayor Ellis, we'll talk to you soon, okay?